asked, going to the lower world, do you have troll or troll home show up? And what does that mean? I think that's a really unique question. And I also love it. And, noticing that mystical creatures can show up in the lower world. And who is that for you? Like, we had a student not too long ago whose power animal was mermaid. And then she looked in her cabinets and there's mermaid mugs, and she goes into their bathrooms and there's shells and mermaid wallpaper and all these things. I'm like, yeah, so yours is mermaid. So if troll is yours, what does troll represent to you? Coming back to that space of what does troll in your mind's eye means, because this is also there's a lot of different cultures that have different representations of what troll represents. So like if we go to the Norwegian or Viking understanding of trolls, and these are mountain spirits that come to life, is it that kind of troll, or is it the troll that is a smaller entity that like lives under the bridge and comes out to be a trickster energy? Like, what does troll represent to you? So I always start with that. Like, just because we have these mythological creatures come forward, how does your mind interpret that? We always want to start there.
And also know that if they are in our conscious awareness, they exist somewhere. We might not see them in our plane in this dimension, but trolls, mermaids, dragons, all that, they exist in another dimension, another layer. And so you're tuning into that energy of them as well. So for me, I have had mermaid comes through for me often. And I have a story with that real quick of I was waking up and mermaid energy came through, and I was like, oh, I went to work and there's a crystal shop. And as soon as I walked in, there was this big old statue of a mermaid. And I was like, okay, you're mine, because it was already calling me, it's already coming through my awareness. But if we say they're mystical creatures, which they are, like I said, to our reality, but they're really there. And it's definitely, we can work with that energy. And they're very, very powerful. So it's like if you have troll coming through, mermaid, dragons, fae, fairies, any of that, yeah, tune into what their magic is, what their energy is, and what they represent to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're seeing the troll home and everything. Like, that's very welcoming. Not only did the troll show up, but it's showing you their home. So they're inviting you in, like, come on in, come see where I'm at.
Beautiful. So know that there is a huge variety of way to connect to nature. And, like I really enjoy some of the Disney movies out there, which I know is kind of funny, but like think about the last Frozen movie, the sequel was so powerful when it came to like noticing the spirit of the wind and noticing the spirit of fire and noticing the spirit of water, and like how these connect and how it connects back to their origin roots. Like I love when, we're seeing it in our media as well, that like we can step into this play and this process of connecting with nature. Um, and I'm just a Disney girl in the heart of hearts. I'm like, I love all of the spiritual playfulness that you're seeing in Disney movies today, whether it's Encanto and the house is enchanted and speaking to you. I'm like, hello, animism, like
Yes.
I really enjoy it. And whether it's Spirit Bear from 20 years ago when that movie came out, or it's these more recent ones with Frozen and Encanto, like I feel like this is becoming accepted as part of our society, and welcoming children into this space of curiosity beyond this princess that needs to be saved by Prince Charming. Like, I'm so glad we're over that era.
And it shows the disclosure of that we can connect with our home that way, that we can connect with nature, that we can connect outside of, yeah, like being rescued. We're learning that we can rescue ourselves, but bringing in the elements, it's funny, like we're in sync, because right before you said that, I was thinking, we haven't even talked about wind or fire or water, earth, mainly earth. But yes, if you're outside and you have thoughts, you have questions, and the wind picks up on you, that's your answer. right? So you can absolutely work with nature and invoke nature to show up and give you the answers you need. What does fire represent? It's burning away what's old so that new can be rebirthed, right? And it's scary. Like California is very well known for its fires, and we've been burning for weeks now. And so as devastating as it is, it's going to allow new growth to happen. And only certain seeds and certain plants can grow through that combustion, through that fire, through that heat. And so in a few years, we'll have an abundance of new growth coming through. And as devastating as we are as people to watch it happen, that is nature's natural way of doing it. Right. And so it's, well, when it's a natural fire, there's a lot of crazy people out there, but wind, fire, water, being in the flow with water, connecting with the flow of water, letting things that need to move and shift, and noticing how water doesn't stop because there's a rock in the way, because there's an obstacle in the way. And symbology, that shows us symbolically that we can tune into water and be like the river that flows around all of the debris and the rocks. And that's for us a message. Don't get stuck. Like if you get to a dead end, you don't just stop and die there. You flip around, right? You do a U-turn and you find a different route. And that's really what it's teaching us, is to find a different route. If something's not working for you, then go find another way of doing it. What's more in alignment? Don't just die at that spot. So go to the river and tune in and allow it to show you how it flows over its debris, over its obstacles. And then you can represent that in your own life.
Well, and it's so funny because I feel like this like spiritual aspect now that is included in anime and so accessible, like everything has kind of shifted over the last 20 years. Like we are still watching Avatar Aang, the last airbender Avatar. And I love that show. And then they just remade it into, a physical thing, and it's on Netflix. And I don't really care too much for the remake, but I love the cartoon, and it's all spiritual related. And then we're watching Korra, the next airbender, the next her life reincarnated into. So Aang to Korra. So now I'm watching the Legends of Korra with my daughter, and everything is so spiritually influenced in these shows. And I'm like, it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. And
because we are in that awakening,
yeah.
and so it's being represented in what we watch and all those things. If you tune into that, like Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Doctor Strange is amazing when you are tuning in, when she's showing him the book of like the chakras and the meridians and all this. And he's like, yeah, that's all great. But, and then she pushes him and he comes out and is like, whoa, how did you do that? And then he's like hungry for it. Like, and she kicks him out. It's like, you need to go now.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's just becoming more integrated, and I think that it reflects our movement from this age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. Like we're in that transition, and even if media has to utilize these concepts to bring them forward, and I love it. Like even when it comes to like watching shows like Loki or like Umbrella Academy, or like there's all these shows that have these very spiritual aspects. And I noticed that I watch shows that always has that spiritual element to it, and it's just what I gravitate towards.
Yeah. Like, have you seen the I think it's called the Externals, the Eternals?
I haven't watched.
And they're like these superheroes that believe that they're here to like save the planet, and they are, but at the same time, at some point, the planet itself is its own god, and then it destroys itself to birth out new systems and like galaxies and stuff. It's like intense, but it's really worth watching. So there's a lot out there that we can tune into that is going to help the imagination create and connect to the truth of what spirituality is.
Yeah, absolutely. So go have fun, watch some shows that illuminate the spiritual aspects beyond physical reality, whatever that looks like for you. If you've never watched The Last Airbender, go watch it, because there's there's just a lot of depth to that. And yeah, have fun with it. Have fun with it. And let's, I invite you to let go of that logical mind, whether you're doing the sit spot exercise or connecting with the tree or watching these silly shows about the spiritual aspects. Like, let's not think too much about it. Let's feel with our heart about what the underlying meaning and messages are. And that is going to be your way to connect with the lower world. So yes, and I have seen Wish. I think that's a great story, like a great movie. If you haven't seen the Disney movie Wish yet, holy crap, that's a good one too. Love, love, love that one. That just came out.
I haven't seen that one. I'll have to put it down.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So
And
thank
let
you.
us know in the community, like how you do connect with nature.
Yes.
Show some pictures of you doing something that's natural and out there, and let us know how you're connecting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Well,
then next week, we're talking about how it shows up in our reality,
yeah,
which is always a fun conversation to have.
right. I think that that's it. Like, so next week we're going to be talking about how the lower world, how these animals, how these spirits show up in our day-to-day lives, and just having a storytelling, because it's when you're in this work, it's very much part of your normal reality. And the separation of what is reality versus non-ordinary reality for the visionary, for the mystic, for the alchemist, they're one and the same. Like they merge together, and we're no longer separating that. And I think that's a really interesting conversation to have, because oftentimes as humans, we're trying to separate the two. And I want to invite the normalcy of when it doesn't occur that way. Like I recently have made a lot of friends with a bunch of muggles. That's
Right?
right. Like,
What
and
it feels like.
it's what it feels like. And to recognize, like, yeah, in their world, I'm super unique. But in my world, this is really freaking normal. And to know that, like, it's okay. It's okay to move through life with your uniqueness and whatever that looks like for you. And so I want to share our stories so that you too will recognize how normal and natural it can be, so that as your spiritual development continues, as your spiritual gifts awaken, you too can feel like you're not the only one out there with this experience, that this is more common than we realize. And most people are denying that aspect of themselves to appear normal and to appear mugglish. And, let's just be the witches and wizards that we are, using that metaphor and being okay with it.
Yeah, absolutely. As we step out of our spiritual closet, knowing it's okay. It is okay. And there is so many more out there that are experiencing what we're experiencing. And so when I meet people that are muggles, like, so to speak, and I think, oh, this is not a normal, I forget, it's not normal to everybody, but they're so intrigued by it because it talks to that innate part of them that knows it's true. Like we all know it's true. Somewhere in us, we all know it. It's just people are still in this, behind the veil, so to speak. And when that starts to thin out and you can see through it, you recognize, yeah, we're all here to do this work and have this experience. And we're so much more than we are in this physical body. But it's just that conditioning. And that conditioning is starting to really crack open. It's breaking open. And people are letting the light in, and they're starting to open up and say, okay, what does this mean for myself? And yes, and that's what we're here for, is like, this is what it means. And so go be playful with it. Have fun with it.
Yeah. I feel like if everyone was truly honest with themselves and each other and can step into that vulnerable space and have those intimate conversations, we would all be absolutely shocked that this is more normal than not, but people have been conditioned not to talk about it. And so whether that is connection with people in the death experience or the birth experience, where those portals are really like open and people are having those mystical experiences, or that they're having these profound experiences in nature. Like, I think it's just way more common than people lead on to. And I would love to create a community and space to share those experiences, because when we can witness each other in that, it doesn't feel like we're the odd one out anymore, that we can be all accepted for our experiences as they are without feeling like we're weird. Like, can we just embrace our weirdness, our crazy, our whatever it is, and just be who we are? And that's my hope. That is my hope for the Moon Rising Mystics group on Facebook, that we have that space that we can just be our weirdo selves and share, because the more we can talk about star seeds and celestials and all these things, the more that we recognize, wow, we're all having similar experiences, and this isn't uncommon. It's just uncommon for it to be talked about because of the way our culture is currently set up, that this is taboo. Well, let's cancel that. Let's cancel the taboo-ness of
Yes.
conversation.
Yes, please. Can we just cancel that? I remember when I first started working with Fire Dragon, and I told my sister, she goes, you know, that's fake, right? You know, those don't exist. And I was like, in your world, in my world, it's a very powerful spirit animal that I work with. So no, it's not fake. And, but knowing that there is more of that, but to be able to, cancel that ideology, to say, no, this is real for me. And it's very powerful. And I utilize this energy in my work, however that is, and so it's amazing stuff. And it is time, and people are stepping up to the line, because our toes are on the line right now. We're there. We're doing it.
We're doing that.
We're here. We're called for it. We signed up for this. We're in it. We're in the thick of it. And so the more people that wake up to it, the faster we're going to raise out of all the crap that's going on out there.
Yes. Yes. So until next time, may you awaken to the whispers of wisdom from within.